Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. Thanks for joining me today. Up today for restoration, we have a HotWheels Carabo. Now this car was introduced in 1970, and it was produced through 1971. This is also one of the first cars that Hot Wheels made that had opening doors, so that's actually pretty cool. Now it was produced in the US and in Hong Kong, but if you happen to have a car with a white interior, it's fairly rare, so you might want to hold on to that one. Well, today we're going to go ahead and restore this car to its original glory. So go ahead and sit back, grab your favorite adult beverage, and if you don't drink, grab a Coke or a coffee or a water or something like that, and sit back and enjoy today's restoration. Let's go ahead and get started with today's build.
It's time to start the autopsy.
I've got the car apart. Let's go ahead and get it in the citrus strip, and we'll get all that old paint stripped off. You can go ahead and let this soak, or you can pull it out and put it on something to watch it. I'm just going to go ahead and set this one aside and let it do its magic. Let's move on. The base of this car is also painted. It's painted black, and we're going to throw that in the stripper also. We'll get that repainted black, and it'll look really, really sweet. Let's let these things sit for a while, and we'll get them cleaned up. Let's move on. Alright, we got the car out of the stripper. We scrubbed it down. We cleaned it up. Now we're going to take some flitz. Now I really like flitz. It's a fantastic product, and this is what I use to do mostly all my polishing. Now I do have many different kinds of polishing creams, but I prefer flitz over all of them. You only need a little bit when you're going ahead to polish this car, so take your time with this and only use a little bit. You can always come back with a little bit more if you need to, but if you happen to put too much, all you're going to do is waste product. Let's go ahead and speed this up and sit back and enjoy your favorite adult beverage as you watch the polishing commence. That's looking really nice. That ought to make that hot pink paint look really sweet once we get it on there. Now make sure you use some degreaser on here before you go ahead and put any paint on there. Alright, we got it ready for paint. Here we're using Spectraflame Hot Pink. Just a little bit of the time. Make sure you go over the entire car, and then you're going to let it set for about 10-15 minutes. That'll give it time to tack up, and you'll come back in and do a few more mist coats like you see here, and then you're going to give it that saturation coat, which is going to give it its main color. This is looking really sweet. This is looking really, really sweet. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to any future videos that come out. If you're getting anything out of these videos, mash that like button, hit the subscribe button. There'll be many, many more videos coming out. Let's go ahead and let that set. I've let the paint set at least 24 hours. I want to make sure that it's nice and dry. Now we're going to hit the back end of this car with the black vinyl paint that I got from the Redline shop. This gives it a nice flat finish, and you don't need to mix any hardener with this paint at all. You spray it right out of the bottle. And there's today's tip from your Uncle Paulie. Let's go ahead and remove all this tape. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and speed it up. That's looking really good. Let's go ahead and move on to some other parts of the car. On the front of the car, there is an orange stripe in the very front end of the nose. We're going to go ahead and spray that with some Spectre Flame Orange. It's the little details that make your cars, folks. That's looking great. Went ahead and peeled the tape off. That looks fantastic. I really like where this is going. If you have any questions, just go ahead and put them down there in the comments. I'll do my best to answer all your questions. Okay, here's the base that we repainted black. And wipe off some of those fingerprints there. Now all the wheels on this car are the cap style wheels, and they come in two sizes, large and medium. It'll line up really good as long as you use that little notch right there on the front. That tells you exactly where it needs to go. We're going to put the base back in, let that harden up with the super glue, and then we're going to replace those wheels. Now we'll go ahead and replace the wheels. I got the replacement wheels from the Redline shop. Check out what the Redline shop has to offer at redlineshop.com. They've got those wonderful Spectre Flame paints. They've got replacement wheels, replacement decals. Check them out today. They got some great stuff there. Using your razor, follow that little edge over, work the blade down in, and it'll pop right off. Most of the time, these replacement wheels will just snap right on. Every so often, you'll find one that's a little bit loose. I'll use a little bit of Tester's model cement to just hold them in lightly. I don't want to stick them on there permanently in case you got to change them out later on. That looks fantastic. I've used 4 medium cap style wheels on this changeover. Now we're going to take care of the windshield. I've cleaned it up and we're going to dip it in Gauzy. Now the thing about Gauzy is expensive for what it is. Now you can get the same results from Pledge Revive. And honestly, folks, Gauzy is just some type of floor finish. I don't know the exact brand that they use, but that's all it is. You get more in a bottle of Pledge Revive, and it'll last you a lot longer, and overall it's a lot cheaper. This stuff does work, though. Let's set that aside, put the dust cover on it, and we'll get back to it when it dries. Now here's all the pieces. Here's the body all painted up. That looks fantastic. That hot pink turned out wonderful. Here's the base with the wheel swap and all painted up. That looks fantastic too, with those brand new wheels from the Redline shop. Here's the interior. We clean that up with soap and water. and here's the glass. Let's go ahead and put it all together and give my creation life.
Lies! Lies! Do you hear me? Give my creation life!
And here's what we started with. A Hot Wheels Carabo that came out in 1970. And again, it was produced through 1971. Now, there are many colors available, and like I said, that this car was produced in the United States and also in Hong Kong. If you happen to find the one with the white interior, hold on to it because it's extremely rare. But we took the car apart, we looked at all the parts, we used the paint stripper to strip it down, we cleaned it up with Zepti greaser, we went ahead and we polished it up with Flitz polish, used that paint from the Redline shop and made it look beautiful. Also got the wheels from the Redline shop, painted the base, put it all back together, and it turned out absolutely incredible. I was really happy with the way that this restoration went. Let's see the result. And here's what we got to. Man, I tell you, this car turned out absolutely beautiful. If, like I've told you in the past, folks, you can do this too. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and if you're not asking me, ask some of the other builders that have the YouTube channels, like Paul from Fat Guy Productions. Jim Silva, he does an incredible job too. Check out his YouTube page. But there's many folks out there. Check out Spork Syndicate with Tom Prunier. He's got an incredible page. He's just starting to come up. Go to these pages, subscribe to them. You'll have a lot of fun watching all the folks. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I do my best to answer all questions. I just can't get to all of them all the time, but I do my best. We got many more videos coming up in the very near future. So like I said, hit that like button, mash it down, subscribe to the channel, and there's a lot more videos coming out. There's some build-offs coming, and we're going to have a lot of fun. I want to thank you for joining me today on Diecast Graveyard. This was a lot of fun, and just stand by. Like I said, we got a lot more videos coming out. Hopefully the garage will cool down enough to where I can get out there and get to work. Put your questions in the comments. I want to say thank you for watching the video today, and cheers.